Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lloyd Suello. So I'm here to present and discuss to you about my family tree that I made, which dedicated to my beloved family, the Suello family. So let's start. So my family tree is composed of first my grandparents, which are my mother and father's parents. Second, my parents, which are my beloved mother and father. Me as the oldest child, and also my two other young brothers. So my family came from two different places or origins. So in my father's side, so his ancestors came from Bohol, specifically in the town of Hetapi, which where he grew up for almost his teenage years until he moved in Cebu for educational purposes in college. So in my mother's side, her ancestors came from Bogo. So Bogo or Bogo City is a town in the northern part of Cebu. So it is a city that is famous for its many delicacies. Now let's get to know my family in my family tree. So the first one I'm going to introduce to you is my father's parents. So in my left side, you can see this is my Nanay Jeline. So her full name is Evangeline P. Suello. So she was born in September 14, 1950. So currently, she is 70 years old. So I can describe my Nanay Jeline as a very light-hearted one, a very caring one, and a very generous person. Among my family member, I can say she is the most generous one. Even if that I didn't live with her with my entire life, because my father's parents really lived with us. Only my mother's parents who live with us mostly of my entire life. So next to describe is my father's father, which is si Sereno G. Suello, o si Papa Sereno. So, he was born in August 6, 1949. So, unluckily, I didn't get the chance to meet my grandfather because he died before my father was born. So, as I asked about him to my father's sister, oldest sister, she can describe my grandfather as a very industrious one, a very determined man that willing to risk his life to support his family, because my grandfather died during work, because at that time my grandfather was an electrician. So suddenly there's an accident happened and he died from it. That was described by my father's sister. So he died in January 15, 1969, in which my father was born in 1977. So he didn't get the chance also to meet his father. So that was a sad reality. So wherever you are, Lolo Sereno, may you rest in peace. So that's it. So let's going to tackle about my mother's parents, which will live with us for almost of my entire life. So the first one I'm going to introduce to you is my mother's father, which is si Tatay Bin, or his full name is Benito D. Bacata Jr. So he was born in July 12, 1949. So I can describe my Tatay Bin as a light-hearted one, also a very thoughtful person, an unselfish person, because every time that he has sort of things, he somehow give it to us even if we didn't want to, like food, money, or anything, because he is also the most generous one that I can say into my family. And so he is currently 71 years old by now. So the next one is my mother's mother, which is si Nanay Marlo. So my mother's mother was born in December 5, 1949. So the same week that Tybee. So she is currently 71 years old. So I can say that my Nanay Marlo is a very strict person, especially that she do it for the purpose of safety among our family. So she is the one that gives us advice. She is the one that gives us discipline, and also she is a very religious one. So every time at 6 o'clock we do our rosary led by her. So it was in both English and Bisaya. And also I read the rosary. We exchange every week. So that's it. That's my mother's parents. And now let's going to tackle about my parents, my beloved parents. So the first one I'm going to talk about is my beloved father. So si Papa Ramil. So his full name is Ramil P. Suello, which is P there stands for Pogoy. So that was his mother's surname when he was in teenage years. So he was born in December 6, 1977. So fun fact about my father. So when I was born, my father gave me a nickname, Ging. That's the name of the nick that he gave me. So every time he called me with that name. And I don't know why he called me that and where that came from. I asked him about that name, but he told me that he didn't know where that came from. It suddenly came from his mouth that he called me with that nickname, Ging. Among all my family here, he's the only one that called me Ging. So every time he called me, it's always Ging, not my name. It's Ging. So with that, I was stunned with it. And also, I treasured it because it gave me sort of, I'm unique. So I can describe my father as a very industrious one, which is the same with his father. A very courageous one because currently, my father is an OFW, especially a seafarer. So I always pray for him every time in his voyage because he works on board. So I always pray for him every time we have a conversation. We'll talk about sorts of things. Somehow also he talks about places which I like, and also sort of asks of direction of where this country can be found every time we will go to another country. So I always pray for him. And also he is a very determined man. So the next one that I'm going to discuss to you is my beloved mother, which I spend my time mostly with him because my father is somehow will go away for work. So my mama Margie, or her full name is Margie B. Suello. B there stands for Bakatan, which is my mother's surname when he was in teenage years, and also my middle initial. So she was born in October 27, 1978. So sort of my mother is the person that I always talk about secrets. So she's the one that always, whenever I have a secret or a problem, I always run to her to get advices and anything. So I can describe my mother as a very generous one, a very light-hearted one, a caring mother, and also a very determined woman that willing to raise this family to a better path. So that's it. So next we're going to tackle about me and my beloved siblings, my younger brothers. So the first one I'm going to tackle about is me, which is the handsome one here. So I'm the oldest among the 3 children of my parents. So my full name is Lloyd B. Suello. So again, my father is also a very ambitious one. So my father told my mother whenever he will bear a son, his child will always bear a name of a sort of his came from his name, which is Ram, which is his first name is Ramil. So he wants to name his son Ram. That's why every name of my siblings, including me, the first name will always the word Ram. So Ram Lloyd, Ram Sis, and Ram G. That's it. So Lloyd there. So there's a story behind there. So my mother and father is a very fan of one of the movie that was acted by John Lloyd and Bea Alonso, which is One More Chance, Popoy and Basha. So my parents are very fanatic about that movie. So my father decided to name my first name dedicated to John Lloyd, which is the Lloyd. So that's why I got that name, which is my full name is Ram Lloyd B. Suello. So I was born in May 4, 2001. So currently I am a 19-year-old studying for BSED study. So I can describe myself as a cunning one, a resourceful one, a responsible one because I'm the oldest. I was also a reliable in terms of anything that my mother wants to do like chores, and also I'm also sort of a runaway guy in terms of some like for my friends. They always call me that as a runaway guy because every time my friends has problem, they always runs at me. I don't know why we always run because they always describe me as a person that doesn't speak or expose secrets, just like my best friend. So me and my best friend always talk to each other about secrets and anything. He always trusted at me. Whenever he has a problem, he always trusted at me to talk about it. So that's it. So the next one I'm going to talk about is my younger brother, Ramses or CRB. So his full name is Ramses Benedict Suello. So again, my father named him from his first name, which is Ram. And luckily, there's a name that came from Bible, which has that first name, which is Ram. That's why he gave that name Ramses. As we could know, Ramses is the Pharaoh during Moses. So he is the half-brother of Moses. So also, my brother was named after Pope Benedict XVI because he was born in May 10, 2006. And that year, Pope Benedict XVI was chose to be as the new Pope or the new leader of the Catholic Church. So that's why my father dedicated Pope Benedict his name to name my brother. So that's why his full name is Ramses Benedict. So he is one of my members of the family that has a long name. So I can describe my younger brother as a very curious one. He is sort of handsome and also a determined one, also a very resourceful in terms of gaming because he likes that sort of things, and also he has a skills for tech savvy because that's her hobby. So he likes more on computer stuffs. So that's it. So the last one I'm going to introduce to you is the youngest of my family tree, or my younger brother, which is Rafael, si baby Rafael. So he is our baby in our family. So his full name is Ramji Rafael B. Suello. So Ramji there again came from my name of my father, but now somehow my father named him after they merged the name of my mother and his name. So my father is Ram and my mother is Margie. So he merged the name. So to give it to my younger brother's name, which is Ramji. And Raphael there, it was an inspiration also from a TV series in ABS-CBN, which is called My Bukas Pa, where Santino was the leading role. There is a name of a baby there called Raphael. At that time, my mother gave birth to my brother. That's why, and my mother is sort of a fan of that TV series. So my brother is the only child in my family in which my mother has the right to give the name to my brother, because me and my other brother was named after our father's choices. So my younger brother was named by my mother's idea, which is Raphael, that came from the TV series. So that's it. So he was born in January 27, 2012. So he's currently 8 years old. My other brother is 14 because he was born in 2006. So I can describe my younger brother as a stubborn one, as we don't know that if we have manhood, that's the term, so they're very curious about the things. But even if he's stubborn, he's very a thoughtful one. And also, he is more intelligent in me in terms of problem solving. In math, my younger brother knows more about things that he likes to do math problems rather than writing letters or grammars. So I was impressed with him because at my school days, I was not fond of mathematics. That's why I didn't choose a course that deals with math, because I didn't understand why math always rejects me. But I know it's not that I didn't know math. It's like that I'm not more good at it. So that's it. So my younger brother is a faithful one. So as my mother described, he is twice more stubborn than me and my brother. So as my mother said, ang iyang kinaiyak mas labaw pa ninyong duha. So that describe my younger brother. But I can sense that my younger brother is an intelligent one also. So that's it. That's my members of my family. So my family currently lives in Compostela, specifically in Estaca. So we've been living in Compostela for almost 15 years. So before, we lived in Cebu City, specifically in Virama, so near in Puente Osmeña. So we were, I can say, dismissed there because due to the fact that we didn't own that land. We're only lived there temporarily because we are squatters in that area, so we were dismissed. And one of my mother's relatives suggested us to live in Compostela. So my mother took the risk, and now we live in Compostela for almost 15 years. So we moved in Compostela when I was 11 years old. So that's, so as you can see at my drawing, why its design was tiles of colors. So do you ever wonder? Because there's a one fact about my family surname, which is Suello. Because as my grandmother told me, my father's mother, so our surname was originated from a Spanish word. This Spanish word is the Spanish translation for floor, which is Suello. In our surname is double L. The word has only one L, but they have the same way of saying it. That's why Suello. If you can search the word, so Suello in Spanish means floor. That's why I designed my family tree in a way of tiles, floor tiles. Because I think myself how to design my family tree that can be sort of represent of where my family name came from, or where was the idea of my family name came from. That's why I use 4 tiles of different colors to represent my family tree. And also, with that surname, my grandmother told me that my family is half Spanish, the side of my father, because she told me that her great-great-grandfather, grandmother, married a Spanish person during the Spanish colonization. And I don't know, she told me that our surname was actually 1L, but through over the course of time, it was changed because of, I don't know, for a lot of reasons. That's why now that my surname is double L. So he told me that my great-grandmother married a Spanish one, a very generous one, and also my great-grandmother once lived in Panangban in Bohol, but transferred in Hetapi for some other reason after their wedding with a Spanish guy or Spanish person. So I was stunned by it that me myself as a half Spanish is a very interesting one. So with that story, I was interested to learn Spanish language during summer after my grade 11. So I learned sort of many Spanish words, so I can speak Spanish a little, un poco. So I was stunned by it. I was interested that my family is half Spanish. So that's it. So I hope you enjoy and understand about my family tree, and I hope that you will embrace your family as the course of time. You will love them and make them proud of what you did. That makes them proud. So have a good day, everybody.